Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new, my name is Shereen and I'm so glad you're here. This video is really special for the start of Ramadan, and I wanted everyone, especially everyone who has a young Muslim at home, to watch this video and try to make this attempt that I'm about to share with you. Can we all agree on the fact that Ramadan is not talked about in public schools, and Eid too? So it's the kind of holiday, like there's always a big deal about Christmas and New Year and Halloween and Valentine's Day, and they even have like Disney Day. Like, can you believe it? But there's nothing at all that talks about Ramadan or Eid or is acknowledged in any way. I remember when I was in high school, which was a long time ago, but I remember I was fasting ever since I was in first grade. But when I was in high school, I was here in the USA, and it always felt so uncomfortable having to tell everyone that I can't eat or I can't drink, and I had to stay out of the cafeteria and go hang out in the library or something. And I don't know if our kids today feel the same way, but I would assume they do, because Ramadan and Eid is not talked about in public school. It's not acknowledged. It's not something that is admired in our kids when they try to make that attempt of fasting and proudly talk about their beliefs and talk about their experience and how it's important for them to fast and why. Like, it's really hard to explain to someone what Ramadan is, because it just sounds like you're starving yourself all day for like possibly a good deed. I want them to be able to talk about it with pride and with excitement, just the way we grew up when we were little. So as you guys may know, my daughter Myra, she's 6 years old, and last year was her first year in public school. She was in TK, and I watched her TK teacher go so all out on all the holidays that came around. Like I mentioned, Christmas, New Year, Valentine's Day, Disney Day, everything. And by the way, her TK teacher was amazing, and this year her kindergarten teacher is fantastic. Okay, it's nothing about the teachers or the school itself. It's simply not something that people know about or something that people acknowledge. So last year, I really wanted to bring it to the teacher's attention, but I wasn't really quite sure how to go about it, to be honest. And I was pregnant, and the shelter-in-place rules were very strict. So I just kind of let it go last year. And instead, at home, I really practiced Ramadan with Myra. Like, she practiced fasting. She fasted, I think, until 10:30, and she was getting a goodie bag every day. So at home, I made sure she felt what Ramadan was about and practiced fasting and everything, and she did such an amazing job. But I thought to myself, if she was in classroom, like, I bet that would be a different experience for her. And as a 5-year-old back then, and now she's 6 years old, I bet that's just challenging, for kids. So this year, I made it my duty and my responsibility to bring it up to her teacher's attention and somehow bring Ramadan into her classroom. Even though shelter in place is still going on, her school is still closed, she's still doing social distance learning, and she is going to be fasting until 11:30 this year, and she will be practicing that at home. But I still wanted to take that try or take that practice for my own good to see how I would go about it with the teacher. So around Christmas time last year, Christmas 2020, her teacher was reading a book, and I usually don't sit with her on her Zoom classes or even listen because her teacher is so good. But I happened to be nearby when the teacher was reading a book about all the other holidays that may not come up in the US that are still celebrated all around the world. And I thought, oh my God, what a great book. Like, Ramadan and Eid must be in that book. And it wasn't. It talked about like Cinco de Mayo and like a bunch of other holidays I don't even remember, but holidays I have never heard of. But Ramadan and Eid were not included in that book. And I was like, oh my God, not only that Ramadan and Eid is not talked about in the classrooms, but when there's a book that talks about the holidays that are not celebrated in the schools or not talked about in the schools, yet Ramadan and Eid still haven't made their way in that type of book. So I messaged her teacher. Of course, I was trying to be as respectful as I can be, because one, I'm not trying to criticize her way of teaching because she's an amazing teacher, and two, I wanted to be respectful of her time. She only gets an hour and a half with the kids every day, and they are all 6-year-olds that keep interrupting and keep talking over her, and that's just who they are. So I wanted to bring it to her attention and see if possibly she could mention Ramadan and Eid with the kids so that Myra can feel acknowledged with everything that she believes in and her religion and what she is celebrating at home. And when I messaged her, she was so sweet. Like, her replies just like made me so happy, because she was, one, so welcoming, and two, she said in a previous class she asked everyone to share a holiday that's only celebrated in their home, and that Myra talked about Ramadan and Eid, and she was so surprised at how much information Myra knew, which made me so happy because everything Myra knew is stuff I taught her. The teacher made so much interest in wanting to learn more about Ramadan, and I told her that as Ramadan gets closer, I would message her and see if we can arrange something for the class. And so I did. A few weeks before Ramadan, I messaged her and I said, hi, Ramadan is going to be on April 12th or April 13th, and I would love to do goodie bags for the kids. At the time, I only had the idea of doing the goodie bags. My thought was to bring goodie bags to the kids, and that way the kids will know that there is such a holiday such as Ramadan. And then I end up telling her about a book that I have. It's Ramadan by Curious George. There's Curious George in there. I bet every Muslim parent has that book. Anyways, she absolutely welcomed the idea of goodie bags, which we did drop at the school about 2 weeks ago, and the goodie bags have tags on them that say Happy Ramadan. So we dropped those off, and there just so happens to be a school supply distribution on April 12th and April 13th. We're actually right outside the school right now to pick up Myra's supplies, and everyone else is picking up their goodie bags today or tomorrow. And when I suggested the book, I honestly suggested the book so she can read it to the kids, and she said she would love it if I joined the class and read the book to them, which I was really nervous about, but I did, and I'm so glad I did because I think it was such a great experience. Now everyone in Myra's class has an idea that such a holiday exists, and I feel like if I keep doing that every year, and if enough parents keep doing that every year, it's not just going to be acknowledged in the classroom, it's hopefully going to be acknowledged in the entire school, and it will be something everyone knows about. Like when you mention Ramadan, everyone knows what Ramadan is, and when you mention Eid, everyone knows what Eid is, and when you kids skip school for Eid because of Eid prayers, everyone is going to know what that is. Anyways, I wanted to make this video short and sweet for you guys. Hopefully you found it informative, or you can take anything from my experience and repeat the same on your end, and hopefully we can spread the word for the sake of our children. And that's it. That's my experience. It was so smooth, it was so easy, and it was really welcomed, which is most important, and I hope that yours is too. That's all I wanted to share with you guys. I'll say bye for now, and I'll see you next week. Bye bye. Myra.